Everybody's talking about Nike deciding to put a swoosh on a Chuck Taylor, which they own. Nigel Sylvester is bringing out an Air Jordan 1 Low next year. And speaking of Jordan 1 Lows, we learned this week why these got cancelled, and it's so silly. We've got all of these stories and a whole bunch more in this week's Sneaker Wrap. Hello everybody, it is me, Jordan Young, and every Saturday I do these weekly sneaker news recap videos where we comb over the most exciting sneaker news, stories from the past week, and we look ahead to some exciting sneaker releases. If you guys want to keep up with me in real time, be sure to go over and drop me a follow on IG. Fast approaching 100K followers over there, so I'd appreciate it if you would help a brother out. Radio, let's kick things off by recapping this week's biggest sneaker releases. There were a whole bunch of dope sneakers that dropped this week. I think for a lot of people, maybe the release of the week arguably was the Mr. Stash collaboration that went down on both his 95s and the Air Force 1 Lows. This seemed to have been a pretty fair release. I've seen a lot of people out there claiming their dubs and showing off their dubs. Here in the UK, the 95s sold out pretty much everywhere. There's a few places that still have a few smaller sizes lurking around. I missed out on the Nike Sneakers app, but managed to come up on foot patrol on a pair of the Air Force 1 Lows. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think this was a pretty fair release. Also had the New Balance and Concepts collaboration on the 740. This has a weird name, man. It's called the Saignefe. Oh, the Saigne? I probably butchered that, but this is actually a really nice colorway. I didn't see these drop anywhere in the UK, but after looking on the Concepts website, these are available pretty much in a full-size run. Well, as of yesterday when I actually investigated. And then we had the Air Jordan 11 Legends Blue. At the time of filming this, these are about to drop, and man, what a change in climate it seems to be. Like this, for you youngsters out there that might be watching, the holiday Jordan 11 release has always been the release of the entire year that most sneakerheads have always looked forward to. And today, this day, I don't really feel like there's that much excitement for these. Don't get me wrong, like they made however many million pairs of these, but yeah, it's just crazy to think that the Holiday 11 release is no longer as exciting as it used to be. Also had the Bad Bunny Adizero SL72 collaboration. And then you guys over in the US, particularly New York, you New Yorkers, were able to come up on the Corteiz collaboration on the Nike Air Huarache today. They did this whole thing where you could go and pick up a newspaper from a newsstand. The newsstand locations were sent out via their social media. You get to the newsstand, you pick up a paper, the coordinates are on the back page of the paper or something, and then you hot foot it to the location to pick up your pair of Huaraches. The only way you could pick up a pair of these shoes though was if you are holding a newspaper in hand. So this is going to have a whole bunch of people running around New York and creating some viral moments, no doubt. The sneakers themselves, I don't know, they're not necessarily going to be to everybody's taste because they do feature the sort of pony hair, which can be a little bit polarizing, but nonetheless, pretty cool release, pretty cool marketing. Did you guys get into it? Let me know down below. Radio, let's get into some sneaker news. We learned this week that we're going to be getting another member to the maniere While You Were Sleeping collection. We thought that was it with the Converse weapons that dropped last week, but no. We've seen some images of a Chuck Taylor that is featuring a Nike swoosh on the upper. A lot of people have been crying out that this is not a particularly original idea because Chinatown Market did this a number of years ago, albeit they were, to be fair, like not official. They weren't supposed to do it. It was kind of like a custom bootleg. And then there was also a reference to this sample that Virgil Abloh did back in like 2017 on the Chuck Taylor with the Nike swoosh. So this is, to be fair to Nike, completely within their rights to do. Like, they're welcome to do whatever they want, but I guess people were sort of pointing to the lack of original storytelling in this swoosh featuring on the Chuck Taylors. Now the shoes themselves, they do look kind of nice, to be fair. Chuck Taylors are notoriously uncomfortable. I mean, they're so simple, but they've seemingly padded them up a little bit, given them some elevated materials, and the colorway is nice. It's pretty classic at this point, but yeah, no release date information. This could be a shock drop type thing set to come out before the end of the year. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Is this lackluster storytelling from maniere, or was this an inevitability? Feel free to let me know. We also heard this week that Nigel Sylvester is going to be bringing us a Jordan 1 Low in 2025, and this comes alongside the news that we're going to be getting a Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 4. Now the details of the sneaker are pretty scarce at this point. We've only got these mock-ups to go off, but the talk out there is that it's a nitro colorway, and it's going to feature a bold palette of black, muslin, and varsity red, which is the same color scheme as seen on his friends and family pair of OGs from back in 2022, which is a fire colorway, although very simple. The big swoosh is another rumor that gets people excited. It's so funny how people get really excited over like a very small increase in size of the swoosh on the side. But look, I'm not gonna lie, I totally agree. It's a way better look for the Jordan 1 Low. So yeah, this is a pretty exciting Jordan 1 Low that could potentially be coming out alongside a whole bunch of other really nice Jordan 1 Lows for next year. Speaking of which, the Jordan 1 Low OG Chicago is set to return in 2025. We've covered this story in the past. We've got a tentative release window in the fall for next year, so still some times away. $150 odd is the retail, and a lot of people have been wondering as to whether or not these are going to be coming out with the big swoosh, and unfortunately I don't have any updates for you in that regard. But I do think it would be a good idea for them to bring back these big swooshes, because Jordan 1 Lows in recent times haven't really been performing and selling out like that. If they were to bring back the big swoosh, especially in the Chicago colorway, I think they would absolutely fly. What do you guys think? We're going to stay with the Jordan 1 Low for a couple more stories. Got some Travis Scott sneaker stories to talk about, including some official images of the Velvet Browns, but let's stay with this one for the moment. This is the reason why the Black Olives were cancelled. Apparently the reason is because they remind Travis Scott of losing the Grammy for Astroworld back in 2019 to Cardi B. He famously performed in the sneaker, and these obviously just bring back the bad memories. Does this mean we'll never see the Black Olives because they rake up the bad memories for him? I hope not. I hope they would see fit to bring these out further down the line, because this is honestly one of the best Travis colorways out there for the Jordan 1 Low. What do you guys think? We've had the official images for the Velvet Browns that are set to drop next Saturday, the 21st. This is the last big Travis Scott release of the year, and whether you like them or not, they're going to be hype, they're going to be popular, people are going to be going hard for them. Now there's a couple of things to talk about. First and foremost, the stock allocation to tier 0 retailers. We're not sure if all of the normal retailers that get Travis Scott shoes are going to be getting their normal allocation. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's less, we don't know. And this is because last week we covered the story around Travis Scott wanting to get more involved in the sneaker releases himself. And so there was the story that maybe Nike were going to withhold product from the normal retailers in order to give them to Travis so that he can run bigger, maybe more fair raffles, or on the flip side, just backdoor more pairs to his cast and crew. So that's one story. We'll see as the raffle releases roll out this week as to whether or not that's the case. And then secondly, there's the talk around whether or not this is a fire shoe. I mean, for goodness sakes, it's a pretty plain Jane colorway. You can guarantee if this didn't have the reverse swoosh on it, these would be bound for the outlets, no doubts. But bro, at this point, it's a Travis Scott shoe, it's a brown shoe, they're clean, quality looks good, the reviews are already out there, so irrespective of where you land on these aesthetically, these are going to be hard to get and they're going to be popular. Right, let's get off the Nike wagon just for a minute, although there's plenty of other interesting stories, including some Travis Scott looking Jordan 4s that we've seen some speculative mock-ups for this week. But I want to talk about these, man. These are looking really out there, really wild, and really funky. These are the Westside Gunn Sauconys, which we've seen really blow up in popularity this year thanks to some fantastic GR colorways, as well as a spectacular collaboration with J-Tips. But bro, these joints, as you can see by this video, are illuminated, man. These are luminous. They are looking crazy wild on feet. So I've got not so much a hot take. I think this is a pretty safe prediction that Saucony are going to continue to drop bangers and gain in popularity in 2025. And I think between J-Tips and this collab with Westside Gunn, you're going to be seeing a lot more people out there rocking these freaky colorways of the Saucony. So cool shoe in my opinion. I want to cover this shoe here, the Wizard of Oz Nike SB Dunk Lows. These are set to release December the 19th via skate shops, and then 23rd on the Nike Sneakers app. So this week, you guys want to be keeping an eye on your local skate shops for raffle and release info. There's been a mixed reception, I think, to this shoe, just because of how wild the colorway is. It's pretty bright, pretty vibrant, pretty out there. But according to this unboxing, these look pretty dope. They've got the custom paper. They come in this blind bag, which I don't really understand because we know what the shoe is. In the past, when we've had the blind bags, you haven't been able to know exactly what shoe you're going to get. Example being like the Huff SBs, which I think is a dope touch. But yeah, as far as I can see, there's only one version of the shoes, so the blind bag is just a waste of packaging. But that aside, they also come with an extra set of insoles, which is a pretty cool touch as well. We saw that last year on the Crenshaw SBs. Got the wear away material, and they're obviously giving a little bit of ruby red slipper vibes as well, which is a story we're going to talk about next actually, because this is crazy. Right, forget your game worn Jordans or your Grammy performed in Yeezys. The ruby red slippers sold for a record breaking $28 million this past week. $32.5 million once you factor in all of the fees, making this the most expensive movie prop ever sold. And if you guys have seen the movie, you'll know that this is probably the most iconic pair of shoes ever worn in a movie for a scene ever. And I think part of the reason why they sold for so much is the story involved in these. Not only are they in great condition, but they used to be on display in the Judy Garland Museum, which is in her hometown of Minnesota, but they were nicked. Someone stole them by smashing the display case with a hammer, and the whereabouts of these shoes was unknown until 2018 when the FBI actually recovered them. We've had some looks at the Devin Booker Fragment 1. Bro, what is up with Devin Booker? He got himself a Nike deal and a signature shoe just to make himself dope colorways, while the rest of us get given all of the trash. What's up with that? Think about it. All of the PE colorways he plays in, they're dope. I'd be keen on those if they got a general release, but no, we get given all the stink ones, bro. What's up with that? Anyway, these Fragment ones are pretty cool. We saw Hiroshi Fujiwara wearing them this week. We've got some images of him wearing these on courts. They look dope, man. They've got the whole snakeskin vibe on the upper. Got the fragment, color blocking. No information as to whether or not these are going to release widely to the public, but if Devin Booker has his own way, I'm sure they won't. Speaking of celebrities having cool shoes that we only wish we could get our hands on, Fat Joe was seen this week out here really flexing on us big time. Bro, he's got the off-white breds in hands, and I still maintain, man, this is an instance wherein Nike really dropped the ball. This would have been such a seminal release, such a great release to really honor the memory of Virgil. Can you imagine the hype these would have gotten had they released? I mean, they still would get crazy hype if they released today, but go back 2 or 3 years, if they decided to release these, damn, they would have absolutely cooked. So, dope shoe, these look nice. Jealous of Fat Joe. What do you guys think? Do you think Nike have missed the trick by not giving us these? Let me know. Jerry Lorenzo this week showed off a Fear of God 2 basketball sample for D Rose. Has his logo on the back, features some pretty interesting color blocking. One of the shoes has like a, I don't know if it's a design motif or it's actually a practical ankle brace that can be worn to help secure the ankles. I don't know, these look pretty sweet. I'd be keen on a pair of these. Should we get some D Rose? Fear of Gods? Would that be the one? Let me know. Nike unveils their latest footwear styles for 2025. They did one of these Nike sneakers showcase episodes on the Nike Sneakers app where they streamed from Beaverton, Oregon and showcased something like 20 odd upcoming releases for next year. But when you look at this image, this looks like Nike's latest footwear styles from 1995. Not so much 2025. So anyways, we'll go through some of these one at a time. The Nike Air Superfly is a new model. It's for women. Definitely leans into the current metallic overlay silver mesh running trends. I'm sure these are going to be quite popular though. We've got the return of the Air Max 95 Neon next year, 30th anniversary of the Air Max 95. Also got some metallic versions of the, what are these, the Gatos or the Gatos or whatever. The football aesthetic seems to be coming through again. We've got these mules. These are going to be straight to the outlets. I mean, look, most of these shoes here, I'm sure you'll agree with me, are already sporting a 50% off tag in my opinion. You've got the retro of the P-Rod 1, which we covered last week, which might be an exciting sneaker to release for some of you P-Rod fans. And then you've got the AirTech Challenge 2, which we have seen go down well this year, although they did bring them out in very limited quantities. I wonder if that's a little bit of a strategic one there. And then you've got some more TNs, and some people are going to be really excited about the Diamond Turfs, the Deion Sanders joints. That's going to be a retro a lot of people are going to be looking forward to, I'm sure. And then you've got the Air Max Craze. Pretty good looking colorway of the Air Jordan 4, this cavestone colorway. They look dope. They have the whole friends and family Travis Scott vibe about them, and apparently these are going to be coming out with the Nike Air there on the back. So this is another strong Jordan 4 colorway that's going to be joining a whole bunch of other really big Jordan 4 releases for next year. Also got a couple of other calm, quiet Jordan releases to speak about. The Jordan 4 Hemp is expected for the next holiday season. These are looking, yeah, they're looking fine, looking okay, nothing special. Definitely prefer the cavestones based on the mock-ups. And then you've also got a Desert Sand Air Jordan 3 set to come out next year as well. Again, these are looking pretty average, to be honest. And some updates on the Jound Superstars that are set to come out in the spring of next year. They kind of look like the Sambas that he brought out, which were a little bit controversial in that the big marketing push for them was the fact that they were made in Germany, but they were actually made in Taiwan, but assembled in Germany. I wonder if these are going to be following suit in the same way. They do look nice, the materials look good, the shape looks good. Jound brand minimalism has now gone so far as to actually delete the logo from the back, so you don't even know whether or not this is an authentic Adidas product from the back. So the minimalism is going to new levels with these. We've been getting some more images, some on foots of the SB Dunk Low collaboration with Supreme to look forward to next year. No firm release date info on this yet. It's a 5-pair pack. We've seen some images of what I think is the nicest colorway for sure, the purple and charcoal pair. Something about purple in this hue on an SB just really works. I'm thinking Purple Pigeons, I'm thinking Kenny Powers. So these are looking fire. We've also seen some other colorways, including this blue colorway. We've also got this dark charcoal colorway, a white colorway, and then we've got this sort of charcoal light vault or lime green, I don't know, colorway as well that looks pretty nice. The quality's looking good. Got the 94 on the back. I'm not sure which is going to be the most limited pair. I had heard that it might be the purples, but yeah, the more images I see of this collection, the more I think they are looking good. The suede pairs or the nubuck pairs I think are looking a bit nicer compared to the plain Jane white pair, but I think what they'll probably end up doing is make the white pair the most limited. The Air Jordan 11 sale is set to drop in the holiday season for 2025, which means it's going to be coming out alongside a couple of other big 11 releases that we spoke about last week. We talked about the Gammas. There's also the Rare Air 11, so that's sort of 3 big Jordan 11 releases slated to come out around the holiday season next year, which I'm not mad at. It does sort of feed into that whole oversaturation narrative that is permeating. But our first looks at the Nike Air Max DN8 in the neon colorway, borrowing obviously from the 95s. No information on the release date. Retails 190 bucks. I haven't really spoken about the DN8s on this page, on this channel so far. Obviously the DN8s must be referring to the 8 little pods in the midsole. It's a progression from the Air Max DN. It's a new model, so credit Nike for that. But yeah, I'm not overly inspired by them to the point where I'd feel like going out and copying a pair. But we have also heard this week that this is going to be the model of choice for the first collaboration between Nike and Palace. Palace have a long history of collaborating with sneaker brands like Adidas. This will be their first project with Nike, so maybe Palace could import some kind of an interesting spin on this to make this model a little bit more desirable. Palace have been coming up, I think, a lot in terms of the clout that they've been wielding in the streetwear scene. Huge year for Kobe's next year. We already know about a whole bunch. We're going to talk a little bit about the Kobe 8s in a second, but the Nike Kobe 9 Elites Moonwalkers are set to come out in 2025. I can remember having this shoe back in 2015, and bro, what a cool shoe. What a dope colorway. I love the Kobe 9, as you guys know. This would be a retro I would be interested in getting. So the Kobe 8s are going to be releasing on Mamba Day, which is the 13th of April in 2025. And so these are a thing, man. These are out there. The early pairs are out there. What I do like about this guy when he gives us the early looks is, unlike my bro XC Motorola Razr sneaker, he actually gives us some really dope images so we can kind of get a sense of exactly what we're getting. And bro, they look dope. They look fine. Do I need them? No, because I still have my pair, which are still in fantastic condition. And I must say, I still do wear these regularly to the gym. I actually box in them these days. Would I want to get a backup pair? I would take a backup pair actually. Right, so if you need yourself some more JJJjound New Balance 2002 Gore-Tex sneakers for this upcoming winter, you're in luck, because these are going to be dropping on December the 18th on Jound's websites, and then I think the New Balance websites on December the 20th. Had some official images for the Nigo and Nike collaboration on the Air Force 3, the Baroque brown colorway. There's also another colorway as well in a tan colorway. These are set to drop on the 19th, so coming out this week. $160 a piece. The promotional material that's come out alongside this release has been really dope. There's also actually, I saw a very limited edition hand-painted 4-inch figurine of Nigo that's supposedly going to be out there and available to cop as well, though it's going to be very difficult to buy. Right, some quick fire stories before we get into this week's upcoming sneaker releases. We've had our first look at Bape's new skate shoe, the Flipster, which are dropping this week on December the 14th. They look pretty similar to the Roadster, and they do look pretty good for skating, although I wonder what the retail price might be. It could put a lot of skaters off. Also heard this week that the Jordan 12 Taxi is going to be returning in the holiday season as well. You guys have probably already seen that story. Given the popularity of Jordan 12s, I don't really think these are going to be a tricky one to cop. Also had our first look this week at the Ja2 Swarovski, which are set to drop February the 15th, 2025. The images that we've been given are pretty crap. These are some XC sneaker type images, and I think the retail price is going to be something crazy, like over $500. You also had some first looks at the Haley Wilson SB Dunk Lows, which are set to come out next year as well, and a little bit like the Supreme SBs I was talking about before with the purple. These hit hard, man. They come with some really nice looking outsoles, translucent vibes, custom insoles. You've got the Haley Wilson touches all over. This is a dope looking SB collab. Also seen this week some announcements of some Air Jordan 17s set to drop next year in this all black colorway. Bro, people have said this year, obviously we want some 17s, so I wouldn't be surprised if the 17 wave catches on a little bit next year, where we see a few more models. Have Adidas found a new technology to surpass and maybe even supersede the comfort of Boost? These are the sponges, the ZPONGE sponge, and this is a new model featuring midsole technology inspired by and named after the highly compressional biology of sponges. So the sponge features this engineered open cell structure, no uniform pattern. And whilst this is a futuristic midsole, the upper of the brand new sneaker is anything but. It dials into Adidas's track shoe expertise with nylon. You've got some extra padding appearing around the heel and the collar portions. Now there has already been some kind of like limited edition black colorway, but there are two more set to drop this week in Europe on December the 19th, but an ice yellow and a focus blue. $130 is the price, so I want to say it's kind of cheap, but I don't know, they look kind of cheap. This could be an interesting model for comfort. I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I try them out? Let me know. Rightio, let's wrap things up by covering this week's biggest sneaker releases. If you thought the heat had stopped or subsided in order to give you a break to save some money to buy other people some stuff for Christmas, you are severely mistaken, my friends. December the 17th, Nicole House SB Dunk Low collaboration. Yeah, it should be a pretty easy cop, I would have thought. December the 17th for you guys in the US, Fragment, Air Zoom Spiridon, you got the black and you got the white colorway. And on December the 18th, the Jordan 12 Blueberries are coming out. Same day, you've got those Jound New Balance 2002 Gore-Tex joints I was talking about before. December the 19th, the Nigo Air Force 3, the light British tan, and the Baroque browns are dropping. December the 20th, the Zoom Spiridon OG. And then probably the release of the week that most people are going to be excited about are the Travis Scott One Low OG Velvet Browns. And that is about it. Some bangers for sure. And then, bro, we're into the last week of the year and there are still some bangers yet to drop as well. So crazy month. What are you guys going for? Feel free to let me know. And that is it for this week's sneaker wrap. Thank you guys as always so much for taking the time to watch the video. Do me a favor and like it. Before you bounce, go and drop me a follow over on Instagram and give me some money on PayPal. No, I'm only joking, I'll see you guys on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. Take care for now and peace.